welcome to Basketball Talk Pro. My name is Ron Eckert. Today we're talking about instinctiveness. Actually, the dictionary does not recognize the word instinctiveness, but I've kind of coined it for my own use because it just fits nicely. Now, in our talks about building a system, we always talk about you build it around your values, what you think is important. It'll be different from one coach to another, and it'll also be different as you go along in your career. The first highest value I have now is a lot different than what I valued 10, 15 years ago and 30 years ago. It changes as you grow in coaching, and you see things that you didn't really see before. That happened to me. In our case, our number one thing that we believe in playing basketball is improvisation. And improvisation is really needs instinctiveness in play. Improvisation is making things up as you go along. Instinctiveness is doing things without thinking about it. And both of those things are very important. In fact, to me, it's like two twins. Twins don't necessarily have the same hair color. One of the twins can be dark hair, and the other one can be light hair, but they're still complemented and tied together. Improvisation and instinctiveness is that way. I spoke with a lady. Actually, the lady was teaching me something, a skill that I needed to know, to have. And in the process, the word instincts came up. And I made the statement to her that because she was kind of under the opinion, and this is the myth, that instincts, you're born with them. Not true. And I said to her, you can learn instincts. You can be taught instincts. You can teach instincts. And she said to me, wow, that's the first time I ever heard that. I did not realize that you could learn to be instinctive. And I think that's what most people think. But my thinking is completely different. I believe you can learn how to be instinctive, and I believe you have learned how to be instinctive. In fact, it goes on constantly in your life. Let me give you an example. When you learn to drive a car, when you were first taken out, I'm assuming somebody was with you that was kind of giving you instructions. You were driving along, and the instructor said, we're going to take a left turn up here at the stoplight. Well, when he says that to a person that's just learning, all kinds of things are going through that person's head. He's got to remember to turn the signal light on so far in front of the light. He's got to remember to brake slowly. He's got to remember how to turn. He's got to remember that when he makes a turn, he's got to stay in the inside lane. All kinds of things are going through his mind, and at the same time, he's probably wavering in his lane. And consequently, it's a very stereotyped type of driving at that point. But 1 month from then, this same guy coming up to the same stop sign doesn't even think about the different things that we mentioned: turning on the signal light, braking at the right time, going into the inside lane. Doesn't even think about it. What happened in that 30 days? Well, it's very simple. And it's very simple in learning to be instinctive. He repeated it over and over again. He repeated skills. He probably drove every day after he had that first day. And finally he was driving by himself. But he drove, and he drove, and he drove. And so it became that he didn't have to actually think through the process or the technique of driving. So really, simply put, and this is my way of looking at the word instincts, instincts is doing something repeatedly until it becomes so mastered that you don't have to think about it. Now, I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying there. I'm not saying you're just a complete blob. I'm saying that you are concentrating on the task. You're not concentrating, or don't need to concentrate, on the technique. You become comfortable with the technique after repetition, lots of repetition. And you learn to trust and have faith in your technique. Consequently, you don't need to think about it. You can concentrate on the task at hand, whatever that task may be. In basketball, there's all kinds of tasks that we must learn. But if you are trying to remember how to do the task, and at the same time remember what technique and how you have to do certain things with your body, it becomes very, very rigid, robot-like, and not smooth at all, until you repeat this over and over and over again, and then you begin to trust your technique. You don't have to think about it. In one of our videos, I showed a shooting drill that I run with not a lot of players, because I'm not a player development guy. And but every once in a while, I've worked with individual players, a lot of good ones. And in that drill, I am constantly saying to the player, trust your technique. Don't be thinking about where your hand is going or where your elbow is and all of that. And as a coach, you should remember not to be harping on those kind of things. Allow the player to trust his technique so that he can focus and concentrate very diligently on the task that he has in front of him, whatever that task may be. Now, I just would like to be able to ask all of you, how much do you repeat your drills? Do you go over them? It isn't the tendency, and I see it a lot, is to run a drill one day and then skip to another drill. The thought always is that the players might be getting bored. It's not your problem. Your problem is to teach and get players to learn what is right. If they're bored, that's just too bad. I have the same problem when I speak to you. I know, because I see the number of people that click on to a video when we have a drill or an offense, and when I want to talk to them about things about coaching, things that require personal development, thinking right, working hard, there's not as much interest. And yet, those things are more important. They're in coaching, you will learn this. If you can stay in this profession 25, 30 years, you're going to find that those things are the things that have kept you in the profession for that length of time. So I can't back off of that. You can't back off of it either. If you have to teach to the point and work a drill to the point that players get instinctive in it, that's what you have to do. It doesn't make any difference if your players are bored. Don't you get bored. You stay enthusiastic about what you're doing. We learn how to run monk offense with 3 simple drills. And we run those 3 simple drills all year long. Yes, players would like to do something else. Doesn't make any difference. My job is to help them become instinctive in their play. I'm going to show you now one drill that we run. We run it all the time. I want you to see the simplicity of it, and I want you to see what it is that you have to learn and finally become instinctive with it. So for just a few minutes, I want to go to the whiteboard and walk you through a drill you've seen, should have seen many if you've been watching the videos. And there's a video coming up next, part 3 of coaching improvisation, that you will see the drill taught and practiced. But I want to talk this through you to you on the whiteboard. I'm going to do that right now. This is our screen away drill. I've showed it to you. This is the first drill we learn as players. Very simple drill. We have a line out here. Of course, we have a line over there. I didn't draw that in. This player starts by throwing to a coach, and I always use a coach as a passer because the coach is going to be more consistent with his passing. Players can get a little sloppy with it. This guy, the player who made the pass, goes over and sets a screen on the man on the wing. The wingman cuts to the top of the key. The screener rolls to the basket. And then the next one we show them is the same thing to the coach, sets the screen, this man back cuts, and this man pops. The other one is same pass, same screen, doing the same thing. This time the wingman curls the screen and this man pops. And the last one is the passer cuts, passes to the coach and goes to set the screen but slips the screen and makes his cut to the basket. This player then must react to that. He can react in one of 2 ways. He can pop back, which you might get him a shot, or he can fill to the top of the key so that we can keep consistent. Now all of these moves are very simple, but the key is to get them so mastered that players do them instinctively. They don't worry about their technique on the screen and the roll. They've done it so much that they don't need to think about that. They can concentrate on where the screen is set and what the player that he's setting the screen for does so he can react properly. We have two others very similar to this, learning the same basic skills. Rolling to the basket, back cutting, curling, and slipping screens. This gives us a lot of movement and a lot of things that can happen because the screener does something every time the cutter does. So you really have in this about 8 possibilities for scoring. It's very simple. That's the thing that I wanted to show you. And we do it over and over again. We will run this drill in the first practice, and we will be running it in the last practice of the season. And that is how you get, so you can trust your technique, which is to us very important. Okay, now a couple points on this. First of all, you'll hear the expression a lot, read the defense. They use that expression for almost everything, but in the drill that I just showed you, you would be reading the defense to determine the right move to make. I tell players in our system, don't read the defense, feel the defense. Reading the defense is thinking, and it makes you robot-like, and it makes you slow. Feel. You will learn as you grow in these drills how to feel the right move. And I want you to have the freedom to make that move regardless of whether you're right or not, but make it aggressively because you feel that that is the right thing to do. There's no mistake there. There's no error in our system. I want players to have that kind of freedom. The process to me is very simple, but you must adhere to it and you must consistently apply it. First of all, the skills have to be taught. We walk through that. We show them how to make those moves. We don't talk about technique, but we do talk about what they are to do. And if you watch part 3 of improvisation, coaching improvisation, you will see me introduce that. This very drill that I just showed you, and talk about the same things I'm talking about right now. So you need to teach it. The players need to see what they can do and what they should do. And then the next phase is learning those moves. You do that through repetition. As a coach, you need to back off during this phase and allow them to try things. Don't put a lot of things in their mind at this time. Let them do things. Let them experiment. Let them try things. They're learning. Of course, you correct if there's something definitely wrong. They just miss doing what is the object of the part of the drill. Then comes mastery. Finally comes mastery. They have been taught it. They know what it is. Then they learn it. And when they learn it over hours and hours of repetition, they master it. By mastering, I mean they can make these cuts perfectly. They can make the reaction of the screener perfectly. They mastered it. But the last one is instinctive play with it. They don't think about it. They don't think about what they have mastered. They don't think about the technique. They think about what it is they should do This is where feeling comes in. They feel the right thing, and they have the mastery of the technique to do it without even thinking about it. Just like driving that car, driving that bicycle. And now you're ready to improvise. But this is the most important thing. Your players will grow as players. Your team will grow as a team. And you will grow as a coach. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a nice weekend.